from planning societies, providing water, electricity, cars, keeping the gas subsidy, providing jobs, keeping inflation down, agricultural investment, Tobago Seabridge tourism, foreign direct investment, a reserve requirement enhancement, HSF savings. All you didn't say well done.
From our national headquarters and virtual space, Senator Anil Roberts.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday night virtual United National Congress. Let me start off by complimenting, congratulating and praising the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, in a brilliant, succinct, creative, bashing, mashing, brilliant display in the Parliament last Friday in destroying the budget presented for 3 hours and 38 minutes by Colm the Dwen Imbert. That was a real Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition, showing you what should have been done, how the PNM should have accounted for your money. But they didn't care because the PNM, they are there and you and I are in another side. So well done to the United National Congress and to Kamla Persad-Bissessar. But the media is amazing. We operate under the Westminster System. The Prime Minister controls the cabinet. The cabinet, the ministers, the ministries, the treasury, the consolidated fund, the PSIP, all the state boards, all the statutory authorities spends every cent. And yet, when they come to a budget debate and they do not account, they do not give you actual figures, no actual revenue, no actual expenditure, no deficit. The ministers do not account during a budget debate. The media discussing that the opposition was not ready. What abject total nonsense. The opposition does not have to account. The opposition cannot spend a cent. Those who are in control of your taxpayers' dollars must account. The opposition must respond, criticize, critique, and give options of an alternative government. So to have the media, y'all are really a total joke in Trinidad and Tobago. Y'all have no shame to be discussing that the opposition was not ready. Furthermore, when you discuss a budget debate is separate and apart and different from any other debate. When you debate a normal bill, the MPs have the entire debate in that bill, all the clauses beforehand laid on the order paper. So the debate, everyone is prepared. You are prepared, you read and you attack different clauses. In a budget debate, it's totally different. It is an accounting of the government to the people through the Parliament. And when you see a Minister of Finance, he always says, and the Minister of Sport will give you more details. And the Minister of Culture will give you more details. And the Ministry of Energy will go into more details. That is because the government must come, present its case, present its accountability, and then the opposition must respond. So for you all to be ridiculous and to actually claim that somehow the opposition was not ready for a budget debate and the government was allowed to shut it down is absolutely ludicrous. In a normal debate, if you're not ready and you flinch and you don't flinch and you play games, the government could take the opportunity to shut down the debate and wind it up. A budget debate is not about that. It's about accountability. So every single minister of the PNM who did not stand up and debate, did not stand up and deliver, they have shirked their responsibility and their duty. So all you members of the media who are confused, read a book, understand the Westminster System and move on. Because it is you, the media, that has Trinidad and Tobago in this pain by allowing the country to elect the worst human being on the planet to be a prime minister. And I say that without any fear of contradiction. I'm going to go through with you what the media has allowed to become a prime minister, because when you look around Trinidad and Tobago and you see total chaos, constitutional crisis, independent institutions shutting down, infrastructure devastatingly damaged, destruction throughout, flooding, poverty, no jobs, the energy sector collapsing, negative foreign direct investment, no education, no opportunities, crime skyrocketing, COVID-19 out of hand, and during an SOE, people are being robbed, raped, and pillaged. You want to know why? Because you have elected a man who the media created a mirage that allowed someone of low character, low intelligence, low heart, low soul, low care, low empathy, low sympathy to become prime minister, the most powerful office in the Westminster system. So I'm going to give you the ABCs of Keith Christopher Rowley. I call it a thesis on feces. A, Keith Rowley is asinine. His policy of a new society where everybody, all the citizens must pay more tax and then wean themselves off of the government as his friends, ministers, financiers, family, and pum-pum girlfriends make money and get contracts across the board is asinine. B, Keith Christopher Rowley is a bully. He was a bully in 1969 as a teacher to go and groom a young girl to turn her pregnant as a teacher with a power position. He was a bully. He was a bully in the PNM as he bullied Patrick Manning. He was a bully in the cabinet under Manning. He's a bully as prime minister as he sits on his bully pulpit and attacks every citizen, every sector, labor, every labor union, every human being, down to the point that you cannot go to your own beaches and rivers. He's a bully even to his own family. He treats his own family with disrespect, separating the ins and the outside. That is a bully. See, Keith Christopher Rowley is a coward. Keith Christopher Rowley just takes and attacks people that he has power over, shouts down to poor people, to black people, to people across Trinidad and Tobago, to workers, to anyone who complains, to citizens who want to come home to enjoy their country. He is a total coward. But when he comes to someone who could deal with him, he says nothing. You ever hear Keith Rowley say anything to Anil? I dare you, Keith Rowley, you bald-head coward. Come out and say something now. Come out and attack. You're the worst prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. D, he's a dictator. He's corrupt. He has corrupted all the independent institutions. Look at his defense of Faris Al-Rawi's immunity with some fella called QC Nelson that he's boasting is a Queen's Counsel. Faris Al-Rawi as Attorney General has no locus standi, no authority, no ability whatsoever to negotiate, to discuss on criminal matters. That is the sole responsibility of the office of the DPP on its own. So that immunity that Faris Al-Rawi says is sub judice, which could not be sub judice because the DPP says he never knew about it, he did not know about it, and he knows nothing about that. He knows about the plea agreement. For Keith Rowley to talk about a case in 1972 with Abdul Malik, Michael de Freitas, Skerrett, and Benson, the murders of Skerrett and Benson, and discussing Adolphus Parmesa before we were even a republic, and talking about state witness and trying to pretend that the Attorney General has the authority to negotiate with a witness. It's witness tampering. We want the police to investigate misbehavior in public office, also withholding information from foreign authorities. We are not to withhold criminal information from other territories, countries that we have treaties with. So the dictator has control. The dictator is also now, as Kamla Prasad Bisesa asked him 17 days ago, was it you who went there to the president's house on August 12th, 2021, to intervene, to interface, to interfere, to influence, and to misbehave in public office, to prevent and to thwart the process of the election or selection of an independent commissioner of police? Keith Rowley has admitted and confessed that it was him and made the ridiculous statement that he lives up to his oath and it is up to him to keep the president informed. It is not. That's why there's a parliamentary process. The president will receive and send to the parliament, and any information the prime minister believes that he had must be debated in parliament and presented, not whispered in the president's ear. The president is culpable and must also comment. Bliss C. Prasad, all the commissioners must comment. Keith Rowley has overstepped his bounds and put Trinidad and Tobago into a constitutional crisis. We call upon all lecturers, all lawyers, all professors, former justices, all people, former commissioners of police, political scientists, professors, speak up now and save your country from the dictator. E stands for attelbut, the man who killed a dog while he was asleep and then had the audacity, the painful heartlessness to attack a citizen in pain when it was a tragic accident. An accident, accidents happen. Nobody could say that the driver and attelbut killed the dog on purpose. The dog was in the road. But when a minister decides to bully a citizen and post up a video of their family member, their dog Marley, dying. That's the kind of government you have in the PNM. Heartless, callous. Attelbut, as Anita Haynes said, you lazy, boast about the little work that you do not do. Faris, well, Faris, F for Faris with Rowley. Immunity, poor sale, no transfer. Did he report it to the Integrity Commission? Let's see. Prove it, Faris. A, a la rental, wedding ringer. He gone to wedding while he making laws for y'all not to be together in more than groups of 5 or less. He went to Andrew Gabriel's daughter wedding, Palancin and Lyman. And at least 13 people that I know have got COVID-19 and spread it from that wedding. The recusal twins goes into the cabinet and recuses himself 37 times. The Malcolm Jones, Ken Julian debacle that he took them out of the court when Kamala Prasad-Bissessar had them in court to recoup your billions of dollars. Faris Al-Rawi, Stuart Smallpin Young, and Rowley took them out of court, and we became the laughing stock of the Privy Council. AV oil scandal, ignoring the senior counsel's advice to appeal to get the friend of the Prime Minister a sweetheart deal. Also, his wife's briefs, we didn't ask about the briefs just from the Office of the Attorney General. We want to know from all ministries, or the Office of the Prime Minister, all statutory authorities and boards. G, this is the alphabet, the ABCs of Rowley. G, gerrymandering, putting the niece of a former PNM minister as the head of the EBC, then instructing the independent EBC to set up seats in Tobago, and that will continue in Trinidad to control the electoral process once again to steal elections. Well, H, well, the whole house man, because our prime minister taking pictures with the owner of Copacabana and smiling and sitting down at his house. Where in God's green earth could you ever see that? Rowley hugging up Budit, taking picture with Budit. He's the H, whole house man. Interlocking directorships. Noel Garcia, his friend from Las Alturas, his friend from the Commission of Inquiry, his friend from Housing between 2003 November and 2007, where over 1.8 billion in profit in projects were incomplete and wasted money. It was him and Noel Garcia. Now Noel Garcia is in charge of building airport, hospital, health center, police station, community center, sporting stadium, every house in Trinidad and Tobago, President's House, Red House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago, and anything and everything in between. J, geometry. That is Rowley, geometry. He's a misogynist, and he's attacked Kamala Prasad-Bissessar in the most vile manner. He has no respect for women, talking about victim blaming in domestic violence incidents about he don't choose your man and so on. That's a man who's sick, who was not brought up well, who did not love all the women around him. He has no respect for women. He's geometry. And then he involves himself in pum-pum governance. Once he gets something, you get a job. Donna, good evening. How are you? Minister Bundles, how are you? The CEO of Udicot, how are you? Those who get little jobs in missions outside, how are you all, ladies? Everybody good? And how are you, Ria Tate, the political PNM editor of the political editor of the Express? How are you, Judy Raymond? Everybody good? K, kleptomaniac. That needs no more definition. K for kleptomaniac. L, legislation to dictate. He comes in and removes the special majority out of all the laws, the procurement legislation that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar passed to protect your money. Imagine a prime minister comes to weaken the protection over your money. Why would someone do that? To keep your money safe? To keep it sound? And L stands for lazy. While you working hard and you sweating to put food on the table, just like I sweating here on the Monday night virtual UNC, he is on the golf course relaxing, approving, giving prime ministerial approval for Bridgemans and other things, coming down with the legislation to the Revenue Authority to take your money, seize your assets and give it to friends and family. The Police Service Commission. L also stands for liar, Emailgate liar, Delcy Gate liar, Obia liar, malignant liar. Emailgate, property tax, COVID-19, 2009, he's against property tax. Property tax at the worst time in 2009. The economy is worse now than ever in our history. Not even 1983 can compare to now. And yet this devastatingly dishonest human being called Keith Rowley is bringing property tax on you while he lets Noel Garcia, his friends and family spend all of your money, then does not account for it in the parliament, shuts down a budget debate and try to blame Kamala. N for NGC, Houston negotiation with small print, shut down Point Lisa's, corrupted the NGC and the gas sector. NGC making a loss for the last 3 years. Never before under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, NGC was calling in $2 billion US profits per year. That's what he and Smallpin did. They brought about the indemnity of the board and the total collapse of NGC and the Atlantic LNG deal. Oh, for Obia, man. Imagine that human being when another prime minister was ailing, took pride and claimed that he born and raised in Mason Hall, close to Lake Oto. And when a man put him out of somewhere, meaning Patrick Manning, you see what happened to him? That's the human being that we have elected to the office of prime minister. And you all have the audacity to suggest that UNC and PNM are the same. Obia man who takes pride in the ill health of others. That's not very. Petrotrin. P for Petrotrin. Y'all open your fridge, close your fridge. Petrotrin still shut down. We have now become pariahs on the earth. We are mosquitoes sucking out of the blood of other countries. We used to be great producers of product. Even Lake Asphalt has shut down. There's no bitumen. The roads are in a mess. We have no foreign direct investment. We have no foreign exchange because Petrotrin is shut and the labor movement, the OWTU, has been decimated. And now they go one by one to shatter and union bus. Q, quintessential double stuffed Oreo. Rowley likes to play race games, but Rowley is not proud to be black. Every policy that Rowley has in place and that he has removed of Kamala Persad-Bissessar hurts black people in Trinidad and Tobago. The laptops that Kamala had for all her children, the school feeding, the baby grant, the self-help grant, the increased URP work, the CPEP work, the live sport, the education, the building of schools. I just drove up the bus route and saw a school in St. Joseph that Kamala built that was 92% complete. It is now in tatters, looking like ravaged and stolen and broken and vandalized because Keith Christopher Rowley does not care. The pan, the culture, the music, the art, the investment by Kamala Persad-Bissessar in everything to uplift not only Trinidadians, Tobagonians, Afro-Trinidadians, Indo-Trinidadians, every single human being. Rowley shattered that and then plays that he is a black man and a proud black man when black people have seen more torture and pain under Rowley than any prime minister in history. R, recalcitrant. A man who would discuss another group, the opposition group, as recalcitrant minority can only be described as a racist statement. To discuss that in Trinidad and Tobago when Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress has proven to push unity, togetherness, respect of all religions, ethnicities, and all people in Trinidad and Tobago. Rowley is a divider who believes that some people are recalcitrant, who do not want to allow him to become the dictator and just continue to vacuum the treasury. He talked about blank man. He's a proud black man. And Kamala want to give people banana. Right now, people want banana. They want to go in the grocery and buy bread and cricks and double zero-rated curry. When Kamala Persad-Bissessar was prime minister, 7,000 items, no VAT. He comes and take off 12, but 4 of the 12 already were zero-rated and says that that is going to help you now, even though prices have increased at 4.9% inflation during a period of deflation. We are in a situation of stagflation under Rowley. S is for small pin, the superman, the super minister, Rowley's O'Halloran, who recuses himself some 40 times in one 5-year term along with Al Rawi. Then his brother, Angus Small Pin Young, gets $3.81 billion in work for his small little rat's tail company on the avenue. And his father replaces Terence Farrell, who all of a sudden has found his mouth. But when Terence Farrell resigned in January 2018 from the PNM because Rowley would not listen to his intelligence, he remained a PNM. He remained silent. And this is why Trinidad and Tobago suffers. Richard Young has become the new Terence Farrell and is advising Rowley only to enrich himself, his family, his sons, and his businesses, getting $15 million at the IFC to do what? Ewart William has resigned from the IFC. Why did he resign? Why is everybody keeping secrets? Why are people afraid of Rowley? T, the tyrant of Tobago. A man who says that his navel string buried in Tobago. Tobago has never suffered so much disrespect from a prime minister. Keith Rowley hates Tobagonians. He invited all of the Trinidadians to come across and spread illness and sickness and COVID-19, death and destruction in Tobago. He has shattered the sea bridge, shattered the tourism industry, shattered the economy of Tobago, so much so that they've lost in the last 6 years 23% economic growth, negative 23%. There are no jobs in Tobago. Everything is foreclosing. People are losing their businesses. People are suffering while he is deciding that he will change the number of seats to win an election. Well, you, the people of Tobago, will decide. He is useless. He's unworthy of the job. He's undeserving. He's ungracious. He's unbearable. V, he's a vaccine vagrant. Was unable to bring and provide and procure vaccines in a timely manner. Was unable to educate and discuss and teach people about the efficacy of vaccines. He bullied. He was irresponsible himself. Nearly contracted COVID 4 times. The vaccine vagrant has us in vaccine hesitancy. Miami Carnival, all the other economies are booming. And we are shut down, locked down, and broke down. He is W. He is worthless. Rowley is wicked. And he's warped. He's a whining wimp. And he's a wuss. That's W. X. Rowley should be the ex-prime minister. He should be the ex-leader of the PNM. He should be the ex-MP for Diego Martin West. And he should be the ex-husband of a strong, brilliant, resilient, tolerant woman. Why? Why do we vote race? Why? Why does mass media promote a misogynist, malevolent, monstrous maniac like Rowley? Why do we not all unite? Why don't we unite to rid ourselves of Rowley's PNM? Unite under Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC. Z, Rowley is a complete zero. He has zero character, zero class, zero creativity, zero care, zero capability, zero capacity, zero connectivity, zero compassion. Rowley is a zero. Rowley is a malignant cancer on our beloved country and must be extricated from the tapestry of our delicate democracy with the precision and finality of a surgeon's scalpel. Unite, team. Teamwork. To all my UNC brothers and sisters, stop it. We have succumbed to the oppression and the dictates of the PNM to stay divided in the opposition. We have one leader, a strong prime minister, a strong leader of the opposition who has 309,000 votes. Join with Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress to remove this alphabet of darkness. Unite. Stop living up to the PNM dictates of division. Understand that if you want to think about the position of Kamla Persad-Bissessar, put yourself in her position. If you are a prime minister who performs so well across the board in every aspect, every ministry, if you created investment jobs, had foreign direct investment, had the HSF, the reserve requirement, everything booming in the country, and you were treated and lied upon by the mass media that is controlled by the PNM, all the newspapers, all 3 TV stations, 13 radio stations, every day on social media, if you were the leader, how would you feel? So to those of you who think that by dividing you will conquer, you will not. You cannot be a team breaker in the day and a team leader in the night. It does not make sense. You should have played sport. Sport unites. The captain is the captain, and we as the players must do all that is best for the team. Unite under the United National Congress to rid Trinidad and Tobago from the forces of evil and darkness that are aligned against the light of the United National Congress and Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Hundreds of thousands of little lights uniting together can thwart the darkness. In this period of Diwali, learn, live, not just our Hindu brothers and sisters, but all of us in Trinidad and Tobago can learn to live and help the light conquer the darkness of Rowley's PNM that is threatening to destroy our nation forever. Unite under Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the United National Congress. Good night. God bless.